And we are back with the top 100 games of all time. From me, Roy Kennedy.
I'm Wendy Yee.
Jason Levine, the gaming machine.
And we are in our top 20 games. Holy smokes, I'm looking at this list.
And you want to play them all right now, right?
I do.
I know it's cliche to say these are my favorite games of all time, but obviously they're my favorite games of all time. I really, really love all these games. So the top 20 is where it's like, man, this is the cream of the crop.
That's where it's happening.
It is happening.
I know. Speaking of playing games, people will get to play games in October, won't they?
Yes. Also in September.
And we'll get to play with some of these people in a week.
Oh yes, so yes, we are talking here about the World Series of Board Gaming. Make sure to check out the link in the description below to check out more info about that. But the World Series of Board Gaming is a place that you can play all sorts of different board game tournaments. Do you want to play board games with the best players in the world? We're going to have some of those best players from the winners of last year at our Spring Spectacular.
That's right. We are going to have Patrick Marryme, who's going to be playing Cascadia, the game that he won a ring at. Against the Dice Tower. We'll see who's going to win that. And then Scott Kushner is going to be playing Seven Wonders. He also is a ring winner for Seven Wonders and is going to fight us for the battle.
Do you think if we win, we get like the ring, or like how does that work?
Do we get to steal the ring from them if we win?
Can we get fancy Dice Tower rings? This would be cool.
Can we throw it into a volcano?
Well, the odds say that
yes.
one of us should win because Cascadia holds 5, so it's 4-1 odds. Seven Wonders holds 7, so it's 6-1 odds.
But also, they've played the game way more than we have.
I think they're going to keep their rings.
I've played Seven Wonders a multitude of times over the years.
But are you playing against them, Jason?
I have no idea. We haven't even looked at the schedule yet.
If we all hate draft... No, I'm joking.
If we all hate draft against Roy, then Roy will not win. And
Wait.
the ring winners can carry their ring home.
I'm more curious to hear the strategy where it's, well, when I play Seven Wonders, I go for the greens because the greens net the most points, or I go for the blues. I'm just curious what the winner's strategy is.
Science is always OP. You gotta not let somebody get all the science. But hey, we're here for our top 100 as well. If you do want to check out the World Series of Board Game, make sure to check out that link. And let's get right on with it with our number 20.
This is Sarah Schweitzer, hiking in with board game number 20.
Number 20! You know what, Jason? You have this whole thing about Arcane Wonders games, how you don't want to be a shill for them. Well, you know what? I'm going to share my favorite games.
What is it?
It's Foundations of Rome, number 20.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
It's on my list too.
Oh, that's right. This is the one that you said was okay.
Wendy B says,
Yes.
this is a 3-way crossover.
This is a 3-way crossover.
Wow, that's awesome.
This
Way to go,
is
Emerson.
not a 4-way crossover with Krishy, I'm pretty sure, because he hates this game. Overproduced.
He doesn't hate the game.
I-
Glaring at
somebody
me
likes
right
it.
now.
I love this game so much.
None of that's true.
Okay, none of that's true.
He wasn't even looking your direction.
Of all the games that have the Dice Tower Essentials, this is just so proud of it. Just so proud of this game.
You know what? This is one of those that I was on the fence because I'm a big lover of New York 1901. In fact, it was earlier on my list. But I think this one has taken the cake. Well, I can't say I think. For sure. I mean, this is 20, right? So this is taking the cake because it's so easy to set up. It's a giant box, but it's so self-contained. And so at a convention, you pull it out, you stick it on the table, and it's ready to go and you can play. There's no bunch of sorting stuff and trying to find the pieces and laying them out and all that kind of stuff. You get your tray, you open it up, you're ready to go.
The thing I love about, they did the crazy production on this, but the thing that I love is it gives you that big, gigantic, epic table experience, but then it's a super accessible, lightweight Euro overall. You're just drafting the territories, putting the stuff out, trying to maximize the stuff.
He said so.
I enjoy lightweight Euros, family weight Euros. For the most part, I normally enjoy those ones you can play with your kids, or you can play with your mom and dad, or people that are more casual gamers. You know, so
It's what's cool is there's going to be a new version out, Foundations of Metropolis, very soon.
Makes it more accessible.
Even though it won't have the giant minis and it'll have cardboard, it still has the trays, so the cardboard still is lined up in the trays, so it'll be an easy setup. Also, for those who are looking for the nice version with the minis, there are some copies left on the Arcane Wonder site. And if you didn't get the cool all-play bag with the special Foundations of Rome logo, there's going to be more of those going up shortly as well.
I haven't seen that
So
either.
I was talking with Robert about this the other day because someone asked me about how to get a bag. And yes, they're just working out the details with All Play, and there will be more cool Foundation of the Rome bags, the cool All Play bags to carry it in.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Well, there you go. That's my number 20, Foundations of Rome.
Love it.
So my number 20 is also a Euro. Shocking. This one I just played with Chris again recently, and it's just as good, no matter how many times you play it. It's El Grande. Have either one of you played this one yet?
Did I play this one?
I'm trying to figure out if I've played El Grande. Let me see it.
Oh, yes, I played this one.
It's an area control game, and you have cards.
This looks like Cascadero. Sorry. It doesn't. It only kind of.
Yeah. So it's a neat area control game, and there's cards, and you get to bid on, from 1 to 13 where you want to go in the turn order, and the higher you bid, you get to go earlier and pick what action you want of the actions, which lets you put out cubes and try to control areas to score points in the scoring rounds.
Whenever there's games that do that with that bidding for turn order, I'm so cheap because I'm like, I'm sure I'll still get a good turn if I don't spend a lot of money.
Well,
and sometimes it bites me in the butt.
No, it works because the neat thing about this is whoever bids the lowest gets to bid first the next round. So sometimes you want to bid low to be able to play the highest in the next round to kind of go last and then go first and get like two actions in a row.
It's very much a game of like trying to guess what your opponents are doing and outthinking them and things like that. I played it one time during Catch-a-Palooza with Tom or whatever. Crushed it, but yeah, it's pretty fun.
You're a Eurogamer. Come to the light side.
I mean, nah, I'm okay. All right, my number 20, I would agree in some ways is a Eurogame. I know people get annoyed when I say that, but it's all about gaining that glory, aka victory points. And this is my favorite in the Eric Lang like Mythos trilogy, and this is Blood Rage. I love Blood Rage. I've played Blood Rage so many times. And it's just one of those games where you set up the game, you're drafting your cards to set up to figure out what you're going to do during the round. There's really cool combats where you're trying to outthink your opponent. Sometimes you want to lose combats when you're doing Loki strategy. You're trying to draft combos that are going to work well together, but you're also trying to pay attention to where all the other players are on the board. You can let a bunch of your guys die in like Ragnarok and get all of these extra points for doing that. There's tons of different ways you can gain glory in this game, and it just comes out like this epic miniatures battle. But winning battles isn't the main way to win the game. Controlling different areas is the way to win the game. This game, even though it looks like a big Ameritrash game, it is really Euro at heart,
Yes.
It's really about min-maxing all of your points throughout the game.
It is so much about that draft at the beginning.
It is extremely about that draft at the beginning. You're planning all of your stuff at the beginning and then setting it all out. So this game used to be in my top 10, and it would solidly be in my top 10. I've just played it so much. I need new things to draft. I've drafted the same stuff so many times. So I feel like I've seen a lot of what this game has to offer. So I'm like, Eric, come on, some more Blood Rage. I need it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Our Blood Rage box couldn't fit any more Blood Rage. We don't
yeah.
need it
They're
anymore.
going to have to give us a bigger box.
If you have everything for Blood Rage, it overstuffs the box. I mean, with the extra player, with Healy, the Sam Healy figure that we used to have. I love this game. This is a crossover for us. It was earlier on my list, but it's such a solid.
And it's still a
great
fantastic game to play. I just really love how everything comes together in Blood Rage. So that's why it's my number 20.
How to pronounce foreign languages. Repeat after me in Dutch. 19. Tom, pay attention. 19.
My 19 is Hadrian's Wall. This is a roll and write game, but it is like an epic roll and write game. You get 2 pages, my friends, of roll and write-ness, and the writing and the boxes that you're writing on are super scrunched and tiny because they fit so much into those 2 pages. If you want cascading, if you want lots of big decisions, if you want a game where you start with like 5 workers and then suddenly you end up having like 15, it's great. This is so much fun. I love Hadrian's Wall so much. It makes me happy.
I love it too. We played this and I was like, it's a meaty roll and write. And there's not many roll and writes that are meaty and feel like a heavy Euro game. And this one does.
It really does. In fact, it took me, my first play and my second play and my third play were all like a year or 2 apart. Like, it took me a while, and I feel like I have this down now. Like, I could really teach this now. and I really enjoy it. But man, it took a while. It was like rereading the entire rule book every time I tried to pull it out because there's so much to it. Yeah, but it's fun. Roy loves roll and write, so this is on his list, I'm sure. Crossover?
Nah.
I tried.
I love it. It's not on my list, but I do love the game a lot, and I think it's very solid. Now, I'm going to give Wendy some love here.
Yes.
Because my next game is, I think, by your favorite designer or one of your favorite designers. I think it's your favorite designer. Let's see if I'm right. It's Great Western Trail.
Ooh, not my favorite, but very close.
I
Very
thought Alexander
close.
Pfister was your favorite.
You know what? Great and Western Trail. I actually have quite a few. I have multiple Pfisters. This particular grouping, but Great Western Trail is one of those that I had a rough, incorrect teach, and then I never went back to it. I still need to play this. So many people have said I need to play this, and they love
You
it.
do.
And I just haven't gotten back to it. It's like I feel like I missed that boat.
It's all about deck building and deck control, and if you like Maracaibo, this was the
I just remember like cows
predecessor.
and trolleys, man.
Yes, cows, and you have to get sets of cows in different colors to get your points to get to the cities, and then obviously there's been other versions of it as well, like New Zealand, etc. And it's such a solid game. The deck building mechanic in this works so well, and the movement paths and how you score points, just everything flows in this game.
Yeah. See, Josh Franklin in the chat knows. He knows Phil Walker Harding, baby. It's my favorite.
There you go.
No, but I love Pfister games. I love Pfister games too. And this is one, I really want to get back to. I also really want to try Argentina, which I heard is awesome. A lot of people have said that that's their favorite out of the newer ones.
Gotcha.
So, do you prefer first edition or second edition?
I'm always a first edition person, so
Are
I played
you?
this when it came out.
Have you seen the art on all of his boxes? Yes, he's always the first edition person.
Yes, there's always changes to it, and obviously the changes add to the game or sometimes fix things that might be broken. But I thought that the game, when it first came out, was so solid that you don't need anything
If
more.
it's not broken, you don't need to fix it?
Exactly.
All right, well, Jason, you and me, we're going to play this at some point. With Emery, he wants to play too.
Oh,
nice.
yes.
All right, my number 19 is another one of those games that just literally made me obsessed with board gaming. Once I played this, I had played Magic, I played D&D, I played a lot of board games.
And it's
some
not number one?
hobby board games. No, because this is one of the ones that I went into, but this is a game that I still really enjoy to play. This is based on an IP of a TV show, and I'd never seen the show, but I love the game. And after playing the game a bunch of times, I watched the show, and I'm like, oh, this is just like the board game. It fit the theme so well, and
Nice.
this is Battlestar Galactica. This is a
yes.
gigantic epic space game where basically trying to keep your starship, your Battlestar Galactica alive while all these Cylon ships are coming in trying to attack you. But there are traitors among your midst. There are Cylons that look like humans, and they're trying to wreck the ship. And they can come in different phases. You can play at the beginning of the game, and there's no Cylons, and then halfway through, there appears to be a couple Cylons. Or you can be playing it,
Betrayers.
and there's one there from the very beginning. You can throw people in the brig. If you have the expansions, you can throw people out of airlock. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff in Battlestar Galactica, and I've had so many amazing games with it. This game always seems to come down like to the wire of like, oh man, if we go hit the FTL drive and like jump away one last time, we're gonna make it to Earth and win the game.
Yep.
All right, we have to do it on a die roll or we're gonna lose. And then it just comes down to that moment's edge. I've had games of this where I've played and been like the Cylons would lose or Cylons would win the game or whatever. And like, dang it, the Cylons won. This sucks. And I'm like, all right, who's human here? Okay, human. Oh, you're a Cylon. Where's the other Cylon? Where's that? Oh wait, the other Cylon is me.
We're
Oh,
the
check it
sleeper
out.
agent.
And then I played a game with Sam Healy, and he'll never forget that. He'll never forgive me for that either. But it was a
Wait,
blast.
Jason, are you artificial intelligence or are you a Cylon?
Sometimes I'm a Cylon in this game, and I love
We're
coming
not
out.
going to figure out if his back glows or not. That's all I'm
I
saying.
love coming out and being like, I'm a Cylon. Let's mess with this game now.
Okay.
It's the greatest feeling in that game is when you come out and you're like, Cylon, baby, and you just start messing with everyone. And you're like, we're not making it to Earth. Too bad. But it's
Cylons are easy mode, though, for sure. Like, being a human and winning as a human is so much more rewarding.
Yes,
So much
it
harder.
is.
It's so hard to do.
It's such a good game. This is one of those games where I really hope it comes back into print.
I mean,
that-
they have the Unfathomable version.
Yes, a
This is-
Cthulhu version, but this is Battlestar Galactica, which is an amazing show. I had watched the show obviously before playing the game,
And this is Corey Konezka, and Corey Konezka rocks the top of my top 100. So love this game.
not surprised. He's an amazing designer.
Yeah. So Battlestar Galactica.
I'm CJ, and this is Boston. We brought you number 18.
Oh, those slides are
Agree.
fun. Makes me think of back when my daughter was little. And I used to write down slides with her. All right, my number 18 is Sky Mines / Mombasa. Bum, bum, bum. I told you. There's a
Yes.
Fister on here.
I like I said, this was on my list too. It's great.
So I like the graphic design of the Mombasa one, plus that's the one that I have. But there's also the Sky Mines one. They're the same game, basically. They're the same game. So I love the tracks around the outside. I love the positive interaction of not controlling the companies or whatever that you're moving into the middle, but instead anybody can own shares of anything. And so you're like, oh, I'm going to increase red because it's got all these cool bonuses that I want to get for moving red out. But then
Yep.
someone else is like, ha ha ha, I have more stocks in red than you. And you're like, well, fine, I'll move on something else. Or, Jason moved up the orange a bunch because he liked those bonuses. And then I was like, ha ha ha, I've got the orange stock. I really enjoy games that have that idea that, like, you don't personally own companies, you just own shares in them.
Yep.
And so you're always trying to figure out, like, who has more shares in what, and can I optimize so that I have more shares in the better one, I really enjoy games that do that. I've got another one in my top 10.
And the action
Spoilers.
selection, like, do you go on the tracks first with your two pieces, or do you buy the cards for the middle because you really want the cards, or do you play out your set of cards to make sure you're first place in it? Like, the action selection and how you do it is
It's so good.
is so good, and the card play mechanic of you play out your cards, they go up top, and then you only can take back one column. Even though you're playing in rows, you're only taking back one of the columns, so not every card you play is going to come back for a while, and you got to plan how you want to get your cards back to have the right sets to have more powerful things later.
And then as you upgrade stuff, you want to get enough cards and build your deck enough that you don't want to expand out wide and play more cards because then you run out if you don't have enough in your deck. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. It's very similar card system to Blackout Hong Kong that was earlier on my list, but I like the way that this does it better.
So do I. I absolutely love this game.
It's good stuff.
So my number 18, I have a feeling it's going to be a crossover with Roy. I have
Shocked.
a feeling, and not Wendy. It's one that I've played a lot of. Me and you haven't actually played this together, I don't believe. I want to. We need to play it together. I haven't played it with you yet. It's War of the Ring, the card game.
I thought it might be this one when you were talking about it that way.
Yeah, I've never played it.
I absolutely love this. So it's interesting because you think War of the Ring and you think epic. And this really does the storyline well, but the way the game plays is sort of like Smash Up. So you're battling for different things along the way. So you're in Helm's Deep, you're in Moria, you're in Helm's Deep, et cetera, but you battle in kind of a Smash Up kind of way where
It's definitely more strategic and less chaotic than Smash.
yes,
so.
yes, it's a much deeper,
I would just
better
say
game.
it's like a base cracking type of game, or like a base battler game.
Yes.
Not necessarily that
Yes.
particular one.
I mean, I relate it to Smash Up. Of course, I think it's deep, story driven, and so much better, which is why it's this high on my list.
Right.
And it just, you really feel like you're trudging along and you're running into the different characters as you run into them in the books, and it just gives you such a feel that you are in Lord of the Rings. It is a phenomenal game.
Cool.
There's another expansion coming out too.
I know, I'm excited about
A
that.
second expansion. I'm very excited for it.
For sure. My number 18 is quintessential Ameritrash, like straight up. And this is an extremely new game, and it is way up my list. And that's because I've played it with so many different people. I played it with my family, I played it with my kids, I played it with Ruthie, I played it with tons of people at conventions. I
Last
love
Light.
this game.
Last
Let's
Light.
see if we can figure it out. Okay, you said it's new?
Yes.
Like last year new? Or
Yes.
this year new?
Last year.
Last year new.
What was Roy playing a lot?
What was Roy playing a lot with all of his family?
Last Light is the only game I saw
And
Roy
all
play
of his
hundreds of
friends.
times.
No, I said once again,
I know
my
Last
game
Light's
is not
not on
going
the
to make it
list.
on my list.
Quintessential
I can't even say that word.
Ameritrash.
Quintessential Ameritrash.
It has cars.
From last year.
It has
With
cars.
cars.
Oh, Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
Vendetta. Okay.
I love Thunder Road Vendetta. Like, I love...
Challengers.
Heck no. Challengers isn't even... Anyway.
Oh, no, that's a joke. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, this game is crazy as you have your 3 cars, you're racing down the track, you're trying to blow up the other cars, and once one player is eliminated, the finish line actually appears, so that way players can actually try to win the game. And I get wrecked in this game, but I have a blast doing it. I have games where, like, in like a couple rounds, I'm just, this car's crashed over here, this car crashed into a wall, this guy tried to ramp and like ran straight into a rock, and like it's just so fun as you're like, I play with the expansions and stuff like that, so you have the extra powers and upgrades and things like that, and everybody has special powers with all of their characters. It's just such a simple, easy game to play. And I mean, yeah, you're rolling your dice and then choosing how to move. It's technically roll and move, but you choose which car goes where, so you have a little bit of decisions there. And then also you're using helicopters to come behind people and blow their cars up. This game is zany, wacky fun, and super quick and like easy to get into. I love Thunder Road Vendetta, and it's been a blast to play.
There are some 3D printed ramps that you can get for these that look like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're all like
Yes.
different.
And then Chad is asking why this is Ameritrash. Normally people like games with a lot of luck or games where
A lot
there's
of
player
chucking the-
elimination
chucking the dice
or
for
games where you're
random.
chucking dice with randomness or games where you're attacking each other. People consider those games more Ameritrashy because you're not going for victory points in this game.
But you didn't say more Ameritrash. You said quintessential
I
Ameritrash.
know,
This
this
is-
just feels
it
like
is.
that because it's old school. It's based off an extremely old school American-style game called Thunder Road.
but
Where
it's-
literally, it was simpler, dumbed-down version of this.
But it's modernized, and it really feels, the original Thunder Road, they really took this
made
in
it
a much better direction. The fact that they added in things like the Big Rig and the Motorcycle Gang, you really feel like you're in a Mad Max. And
Yeah.
especially the new ones like Fury Road and Furiosa, which by the way was excellent for those who haven't seen it yet. It's the prequel to Fury
Yeah.
Road, and this captures the essence of that. Like, especially if you got the Big Rig and you got all these things trying to destroy the Big Rig, it's amazing.
Can you drive your Beamer under the big rig?
That's Fast and Furious. That's
I know.
the whole different
But in this
thing.
game, you could totally like run into something and like
crash
bounce
into
crash
it.
stop each other, and then this person could go that way, or you could be slung this way, and crash into someone is always a risk. But it's like so fun. It's like you're on the edge of the map. I'm gonna crash into you. One of us might die, but it'll be crazy to see what happens. You know.
We spin out into a ramp that shoots you across the,
Exactly.
the
It just has
fiery
those
flames of doom.
Epic
Yes.
moments in it, which is just so wild.
It's so ridiculous.
I love
Yes.
Thunder Road Vendetta, and we should play it. Play it at a convention. Let's do it.
Yes.
The next number is like the Icelandic heatwave. It's number 17. Centigrade.
Tybor the Builder, can he fix it? Tybor the Builder.
Will he fix it?
Yes, he can. Do you not have children? You don't have children. Okay.
I don't know what song that is.
That's Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder. Tybor der Bauermeister. I don't speak German. Tybor the Builder is another Alexander Pfister game. He has sponsored this list for
No, he
today.
hasn't.
So this is a multi-use card game, and this is one of his like light weeknight game kind of things where you shuffle up the deck and you go. So in Tybor the Builder, you are deciding if you want to play cards on the top of your little player area to create engine building discounts and cool set collection and like that kind of stuff, or do you want to put it off to the right side so that you can build up the fisticuff strength so that you can actually build buildings because that's where you get points. And then from there, you discard on the left side. So it's one of those games that you have, like, depending on where you put stuff, depends on what it does. And I just really enjoy that because it's a very clean way of seeing what you're doing with your multi-use cards. And yeah, it's a fun game. This is one that I really enjoy.
Me too.
This was, on the cruise, we did a game show where we were talking about the games that are not in the library that
Is
Tom
this
should
not
add.
in the library?
This is not in the library. It's hard to find.
It should be. I mean,
it should be, right?
Oh My Goods is in the library, right? Which was like the predecessor game to this.
Yeah, which is, I think, like a couple lists ago for me.
Yeah, but this one's great. This one's even better than Oh My Goods. I agree with you on that. This one
This
is
one's
solid.
good.
And we need to get it in the library. I think you're right.
Yes, let's do it.
My number 17 is in the library.
Well, let's just all brag for
La-di-da-di-da. Well, I don't think the version that I'm going to talk about is in the library. I think the new version of it is. But I'm going to talk about one of my favorite designers, Stefan Feld here.
Name drop. Have you met him?
I interviewed him on the channel. There's an interview. I interviewed him on the channel here.
Then yes, name
about 8 years ago. But yeah, we've met him a bunch of times. He's real nice. Like, hopefully, if he's, in case you don't go to Essen, if he's at Gen Con, I'll introduce you because I know you like his games. So
okay.
We'll make sure to set something up. He's super nice.
Super tall.
I met Phil Walker Harding last year at Gen Con.
Isn't he amazing too?
He's very sweet.
Yeah, a lot of designers are really nice people, which is really cool.
Not all of them.
I think most people are really nice people. I think people in general are kind.
I think so too. So
except Roy.
Roy's a nice designer too. Roy's always nice. I think it fits. All designers are nice people. Yeah. So
true Roy.
My number 17 is got the Wind Rose. It's Macau, which I know it's reprinted now as the Queen version is Amsterdam, which the rules have slightly changed. But I just
and in a much bigger box.
And in a much bigger box, yes. But I just adore this game. The concept of it that you roll your dice and you take you roll your dice and then you take your cubes based on the die number. So if you take 5 cubes, they end up in the 5 spot. If you take 4 cubes, they end up in the 4 spot. And then the dial keeps changing. So you need to pair up different color cubes to be able to build your cards, to be able to get the cool actions. So sometimes you want to take a 6, but you're going to have to wait 6 turns for it to come in. I love that. I do want to be a Macau man. Macau man. I want to be a Macau man.
What have you done?
I love it. I love it. It's just such a great game. Yeah, there are times where you're like, oh, I totally couldn't match up the colors. I couldn't build this one, but trying to build out everything and get your tableau going is just so much fun, and it's such a solid game.
It's impressive that the term felding, like, it's rare, I feel like, for a designer to have a gaming term named after them. But when you felled someone in a score track because you're on top, so you're ahead.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. I think that's cool that he's got a mechanism named after him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Agreed.
And we're just joking about me being a mean designer. Like, don't feel intimidated to come up to us and talk to us at any conventions.
Oh yeah, we're
like,
super kind, y'all.
I love when people like come up and say hi to us and everything.
Roy is amazing. Roy is amazing.
But yeah, like I used to always say like, oh, I'm just a dude in my garage like recording videos. Back when I used to do stuff on my own. But now we're all here together, and we're just a bunch of people in a garage recording videos because we're in a garage right now, technically.
You wouldn't know it, but yeah, we're in a garage.
But yeah, so always feel free to come up to us. We love when people like talk to us about stuff. So
does that mean we're a garage band?
We are a garage band. But I guess we should go ahead and get to my number 17, which is a giant epic game, and this is like almost like one part of an unofficial trilogy to me. It's not really a trilogy, but I pretend like it is. They're all from completely different publishers. But they have the same sort of vibe, and this would be like the in-a-box game, and this is Star Wars in a box. I love Star Wars Rebellion. Star Wars Rebellion is a gigantic game where you're running around the galaxy. It's extremely asymmetrical, and you have the Rebellion, which is trying to hide where their rebel base is and trying to sneak around and complete all of these different missions. You're putting different characters out to try to complete missions in different ways, but then you have the Empire, which is doing the exact opposite of that. They're trying to squash all the missions they're trying to complete and trying to find the rebel base and kill them off, while they're trying to get through their different agendas to build different big ships and build Death Stars and build all these Star Destroyers to just basically eradicate the rebellion. This game is gigantic and epic and feels like so much Star Wars. Like, it feels very thematic to Star Wars. I love big, gigantic air control games, especially those asymmetrical ones where there's completely different wing conditions for each side. This game is amazing. And if you're a huge fan of big, long, epic games and games that have that huge table presence, Star Wars Rebellion is a must. But yeah, I love this game.
This definitely has your name written all over it.
It's epic, like literally.
It even
epic.
starts with an R, like Roy.
Have you played
Exactly.
this one, Wendy?
I have not. I watched Chris play parts of it.
You need to. It
No, I don't.
It puts you into the Star Wars world.
I
and
don't think there's anything that Wendy would.
it puts you in the Star Wars world, and it puts you in the best part of the Star Wars world, which is episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
It puts you in like
There's no argument there, but
the best part of the Star Wars world. Even though I still don't understand how you could have 3 different Death Stars at the same time, but you could have 3 Death Stars in this game if you want to.
And there's another Corey Konieczka game. I just want to be Corey Konieczka when I grow up. There you go.
maybe
Star Wars
you
Rebellion.
are. Maybe you're already grown up.
Sixth, 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 sixth.
Was that
That's-
painted in blood?
Kind of.
Are we in a horror
frightening.
movie?
16. 16. 16. Okay, my daughter's reading Harry Potter, the second one with the snake that he can like hear in the walls and the creepy noises. I'm pretty sure that that's what this was.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Like a creepy snake gonna kill. Okay, 16. We're on 16.
16.
You wouldn't know by how many times they said it.
Okay, my number 16 is new from last year. This is something that came into this list. It is not by Alexander Pfister. Instead, it is Earth.
Ah, the whole planet.
Earth was on my
The
list.
whole planet. You know, this was one of my most anticipated of last year, and it did not disappoint. This is a game where it's all simultaneous. Everyone gets to play. You get to create this cool tableau, this 4x4 grid of cards that all have to synergize with each other, plus they upgrade your actions. And it just is one of those games that it's like, sit down, do a lot of fun stuff on your board, have amazing, huge actions, and count up score at the end. I just really like how simple and basic it is. You know, but it's not basic. I guess that's the wrong word. I just like that it's simple, but there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of cool decisions.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Somebody teach me this game.
You haven't played
you still
this?
haven't played
I haven't played Earth.
We
I
need
still
to
haven't
play
played
this
Earth.
like instantly, Roy. Like this was on my list too, and this is. I think it has a very good chance of winning a bunch of Dice Star Awards this year.
I know.
Assuming it gets nominated, which we'll find out next week. But it's just solid. You're building a tableau of cards, and each card has
I
actions.
like follow actions.
And you
I
have
like
to-
simultaneous
Yes.
actions. I like engine building and tableau
You would
building.
love this,
so-
and it plays in the right amount of time. It's like snappy. It plays in like under an hour. It's just solid overall.
Plus, you get to play with dirt.
I literally
And
have a
everybody wants
copy
to
of
play
it
with
at
dirt.
my house that I'm like, I know I'm gonna love this game. I just need to actually play it. Somebody at Dice Tower East, teach me this game, please.
I'll teach you it.
This will be a quicker play. than
Somebody else
Great
at Dice
Western
Tower
Trail.
East, teach me this game, please. I'm just kidding.
If 3 other people want to join us, and you're at Dice Tower East, come join us. We're going to play this game.
Earth, number 16.
My number 16, I'm going to hearken to another one of my favorite designers,
Nice.
which I don't know if this is one of Wendy's favorite designers, but it might be. I don't think it's one of your favorite designers, Roy.
Nah.
Okay, who's the designer?
Uwe Rosenberg.
Love Uwe Rosenberg. Okay.
Le Havre.
Le Havre.
La Havre.
Such a good game.
I've played the Inland Port 2-player version,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't played Big Le Havre.
Oh, you need to play Big Le Havre. Big Le
There's a
Havre
lot
is
of games I need to play, Jason.
Big Le Havre is one of the best games of all time. That's why it's number 16 on my list. It is just phenomenal. There's a round tracker, and you have to have a certain amount of actions.
Round tracker. Oh my goodness.
There's a round tracker, and
Same
each
thought.
I was like, you're saying it's amazing, and the very first thing you're like, round tracker. I'm like,
no, there's a cool mechanic in the round tracker because the round tracker is 7 actions, and the actions change.
okay, cool.
And because
Well,
of
that is a
the
little
way
cool.
the actions are stacked in the round tracker, you're going to get to collect certain things as you go, but you need to collect all these different things. You need to convert this into this, and you need to collect buildings that do all sorts of neat powers, but the buildings come out in stacks. So
Okay, cool,
in
cool.
order to get to one building, someone else has to get the other building first, and the buildings cost your resources, and you're getting boats that you're turning things into other things, and
How much is this like Inland Port? Or Inland?
Inland Port is a much more stripped down version.
Okay.
Yes, this is deeper. This is just a great. It's my favorite Uwe Rosenberg game, and it
Okay.
is so good. And
Michael Hansen has a really important question.
what?
Does it bother anyone that round trackers are often not round? No.
No, not at all. They're always
They're normally linear.
straight. But this is one, if you haven't tried it, you need to try it. It's that good of a game.
Bravo.
Cool. My number 16, we're going back to Ameritrash. And this is a game.
Is it also Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
No, but it is fantasy.
Oh.
It is wizards warring against each other. This is Wiz War.
Interesting.
I love Wiz War. And this is a wild, crazy game where basically everybody plays a different wizard and you're trying to get 2 points. That's it. You can get point by either A, knocking out another wizard, or B, by collecting one of their treasures that's in one of their areas. You're all running through this different labyrinth, and you're trying to grab the treasure and get it back to your little starting area, your home base. But this game has a ton of different card play that feels very almost Magic the Gathering as you're slinging spells at each other. You're shocking each other or like blasting somebody through a wall or like blowing up walls or making walls be created. And you're like stealing cards from the other player and then they're getting cards to draw extra cards and things that allow them to turn into a werewolf. And it's crazy wizards running around a labyrinth blasting each other, magical romp. And this game is zany and chaotic and fun. I mean, it has dumb cards like, oh, one wizard's hitting another wizard over the head with a hammer, and then another wizard's like gluing their treasure chest to the floor, so when they try to pick it up, it like wastes their turn. There's all sorts of crazy, zany stuff in Wiz War, and this game was one of the inspirations for Magic the Gathering. It has counter spells in it, has a bunch of different stuff. This is a crazy great game from Tom Jolly, and this is another one that I love to play at conventions. I know it's a game that's very much like a little out there and crazy, but I have a lot of fun.
But you're out there and crazy, so it works.
Technically, people can buy this game. They just re-released it from Steve Jackson. But this version of the game is the game that I like. This version of the game is probably going to be super expensive and hard to find. That's why you should come to Dice Tower events, because we have a copy of it in the library, and you can play it there. And I will even teach it to you.
It's funny because Wiz War, I still have the original version of the game.
The original version of the game came in a
In
plastic
the 80s.
baggie.
Yeah. In
You
the
have
80s.
that plastic baggie version of the game?
Yeah, like
The
it came
original
out in the
baggie
80s.
that it came in?
Yeah, because that's
It
how
was
it
on like
came.
pieces of paper and like little paper
was
mats
like,
and like
it
in a
looked
little
like a
bag.
print and play basically.
And that was also before I was bored.
Yes, it looked like a print and play, but
What I'm trying to say, Jason, is you're old.
yeah, I am old. We knew this already. I'm in my 50s where I'm old.
Anyway.
But it's Wiz War's a neat game. It's a little too take thatty for me, but it's
It's
neat.
very, very like punch each other. But I enjoy those games where like they're winning, get them. No, now they're winning, get them. No, now I'm winning. Please don't get me. They got me. I don't know.
Yes.
It's just I
But is
love
there
that stuff in
ever a
games.
point that a mage takes their staff and makes a big sword of light come out and make a zhng sound?
Not
During it?
lightsaber. No.
Okay. I tried.
But no, it is fun. It is fun and zany at that. But yeah, my number 16, Wiz War.
Rolling with the beard here, and I get the opportunity, nay, the honor, to introduce game number 15. Whose dice got rolled again? The top 10.
Wendy without a beard here, and I'm going to talk about my number 15, which is Revive.
How many wizards
That's a
are
lot
in
of
Revive?
energy.
No wizards?
Revive.
No, there's aliens, not wizards. Reviving it. They're reviving it again. That's why there's one beautiful flower in the icy tundra of the Ice Age. So in Revive, this is a Euro game that's got a really cool, busy player board where you're trying to move up these interesting tracks, but as you move the tracks and they pass each other, then they unlock new skills that you can use. And this is one of those games that you just have a ton of different things that you can do. And I love that. You can upgrade the board where you're playing your cards, and each one of those cards are multi-use. You can tuck them on the bottom for an ability, or you can tuck them on the top for a different ability. Some abilities let you stack cards on top of each other, and it's got this deck building element, but instead of like drawing 5 cards at the beginning, you get to take your entire discard pile and put it in your hand with the rest of the cards that you have left over in your hand. So you get most of your deck, and just the cards that you played last time go in the discard pile. I got a lot of yups. Is that yups for yes, this is a good game?
No,
Or
that was
for
yep.
something else?
People are saying that their stream went out, so hopefully we're still on the air right here.
Well, we're hoping for
We're hoping
good
that we're
stuff.
still on the air, but
We
If
can see
not-
people talking.
we can see people talking in the chat.
So
I
well,
don't
I'm
know
just
what's
gonna
going on, but we're gonna keep talking.
We're gonna keep going. and
Revive is a game that
Chris will let us know.
I love as well. It's interesting because it kind of came and not a lot of people played it. Like I was shocked that it didn't it wasn't up for any Dice Star Awards last year, because I thought it should have been up for awards. I thought it was a really good game, and it just didn't get love, but it is a really good game.
So this was not my number one when I made my end of the year list, but then I realized a couple of months later after playing it again and getting more plays in it that I was like, really, this is my favorite game from 2022, I think is when it came out. Like, this is just my favorite of that year.
So should we? Should you share Revive with us again, Wendy?
Okay.
How much do we talk about Revive?
Let's talk about number 15, Revive. All right, so I love Revive.
Are there aliens?
They're aliens.
Yes.
Roy knows now that they're aliens. They're reviving planet Earth after humans have destroyed it, which is why there's that cute little flower. So Revive is one of those games that there's so much to do. So you've got multiple player boards. You've got one where you're tucking your action cards as you're playing them, and depending whether you tuck the top or you tuck the bottom, you get different abilities, and sometimes you can stack multiple cards on top of each other, and you can upgrade that. But then also you have another player board, which is the one you can see in this picture, where I guess it's all the same player board. What am I talking about? But you can upgrade the non-card parts with moving tracks, and the tracks all relate to each other. So as multiple tracks pass by these circles, you can upgrade them, and you can unlock new abilities. And so there's just a ton going on. And this is one of those games where you are deck building and you're trying to, like, you get more of that deck in hand than you do in a regular deck building game. So instead of drawing like 5 cards, you get everything from your discard pile. So you have so many options. That's the cool. Multi-use, the great strategic choices of going a bunch of different directions. I just really, really like this one.
Yes, me too. This is a game that I was saying during our blackout or during our frozen moment.
It's been revived.
Blackout Hong Kong. Homestead.
It's a game that kind of flew under the radar last year. I was surprised that it wasn't up for any Dice Star Awards, because it is a really, really solid game. And if you haven't played it, it's a game that you should go out and get and play. It's really good.
Yeah, this is one that wasn't originally, it was like 2 or 3 on my list from the year that it came out when I was doing my like top favorites of the year. But then the more I've played it and the more I've played the other games that came out that year, this one's my favorite. So it's my favorite from 2022.
Nice.
Revive is awesome.
So I'm going back in time. Not surprisingly, I think someone in the chat had said that my next game is probably going to be older than them, and it probably is, because this game came out, well, actually it came out in 94 or 95.
Oh, I was definitely alive by then. I was in elementary school.
Yes. And I think this is a crossover with Roy, if I remember right, from a few weeks ago.
Oh.
If I remember right, from a few weeks ago. From the past. And it's by Richard Garfield. It's Robo Rally.
Ooh, yeah.
I absolutely love this game.
15 is way up there. That's
I
awesome.
absolutely love this. Like, I love programming games, and it's a programming game and a racing game, and it's just so much fun. I have all the original stuff from, like, the original stuff from the 90s with all the chemical maps and all the other stuff.
Did it come in a Ziploc baggie?
The expansion maps, one of them came in a box and the other ones came in just baggies. Yes, some of the expansion maps came in baggies. They didn't even come in boxes. And it's just, you're programming, you're putting out cards, you're hoping you don't crash into other people, but sometimes you will, and then you push people into pits, and you end up on things that spin around, then you end up on a conveyor belt that shoots you off the board and you die, and
you shoot your lasers at people when you point at them, and then they get their cards locked, and then they're just always, they all know every single turn, the very last thing they're going to do is turn left.
Spin, and end up on a conveyor belt and go shooting off the board, and you get upgrades. It's such a fun racing game, and it is just chaotic goodness.
I played this at a game night before I even knew about board games, really. Like the modern hobby board games. There's one that someone just had, and I thought, that was a fun game. You know, like, it just was...
I need to teach this to more people. I haven't played my copy in a while. This is one that I'd like to get out with, like, my casual gaming group friends and see how much they enjoy the zaniness of it. I've always had a blast with it.
Yes.
All right, my number 15 is another game that came out before I was born.
Wait, another game?
It's another game. But
They
this
came
is
up
a
for
game
what?
in one of my favorite IPs, and I really enjoy and love the way this game comes together. It's a game that you really need to play with 6 players, though, which is kind of crazy.
Oh.
But I played this game for the first time like when I was 12.
Oh, are we doing a callback?
And this is Dune.
Are we doing a callback? Can we bring this out?
Don't touch the bucket.
But I put on here Dune/Rex because I really enjoy Dune.
bucket.
But I don't think there's like a really good quality like version of.
Jason broke the sandworm.
He broke Shai Halud.
I had to do the callback.
But yeah, I enjoy just the way this game works. You're all different asymmetrical factions with different powers. One faction gets all the spice whenever somebody buys cards from the market. Another faction gets all the spice when somebody lands people. You have the Spacing Guild, which does it with landing. You have the Barony or the Empire, which has stronger units. Or the Emperor, who has stronger units, and then they get all the resources when you do stuff in the market. You have the Barony, or it's Barony of Letnev in Rex. It's the
Baron Harkonnen.
The Baron Harkonnen in Dune, and they have a bunch of extra traders and like get extra weapons and things like that. Then you have the Atreides that can ask people questions. Then you have the Bene Gesserit that are trying to like prophesy the game.
And go in multiple things.
Right, and they don't have to fight people. They can basically kind of like be around in everybody else's area and then change over to fighting people whenever they want to, kind of like sneaking in there. Man, this game is so epic and feels like it gives you that Dune vibe, even though it had been rethemed into the Twilight Imperium universe with Rex. I love both versions of this game, and I really enjoy Dune, and I'm super stoked that Gale Force 9 is making a more deluxe version of this.
Are they?
Because I think, yeah, they're bringing one to GameFound, and I think this game deserves a deluxe version because it's been around for, I mean, over, like, what is it? Oh, I mean, over 38
It came out in the 70s.
Yeah, so it's like over
or
like,
early 80s.
over like 40 years, you know, that it's been around. And this is one of those games that this and Cosmic Encounter are the games that like brought asymmetrical powers to like the forefront in gaming. And it's just such an amazing game. I love the combat in this game because it's like deterministic combat of like kind of bidding on how much you're going to commit to the battle, but everything you bid is going to die. It's the same combat that they used in Scythe, you know, and other games have taken from that and like built upon it. But I love Dune. It's just so fun.
It's speaking of Cosmic Encounter, it's same designers.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and Dune, I told the story when I did Dune, and that's why we had to do the callback to this, to the bucket, the popcorn bucket. But yes, my favorite game of this was when I
You're the Bene
fell
Gesserit?
I was the Bene Gesserit. I went to bed because all my pieces were off the board, and then they woke me up a few hours later and said, "Your prediction was right. You won the game. Only game that you could fall asleep to and still win."
I don't know if that's a selling point, Jason.
I don't know if it's a selling point either, but that's
It's
still,
cool.
it's still
Is
crazy.
So for both of you, is this your favorite Dune game of all time?
Maybe.
No.
Okay.
Spoiler
The
alert.
future.
I
So
said,
we were wondering just how many board games we could fit in Kallax.
And how many could we fit?
14.
14?
14.
Guess it's time to call the collection.
Wait, 14 in that whole entire town of Calyx? Or is that a street?
The whole town is
It's
the size
Calyx.
of a one Calyx cube.
really?
Like a single
No,
cube?
not really.
Is there really a town called Calyx, and that's where the shelf names came
Or is
from?
that a street?
I'm sure. I think a lot of the IKEA like names are like names of like Swedish
Places,
towns
things.
and places and things
I
like
wouldn't be
things.
surprised, yeah.
Yeah.
You make sense. Okay, number 14. 13. What are we on? 14. Okay. I am having trouble with numbers today, but I promise I can count to 14. Promise. Okay. I just looked at it and then I immediately forgot what I just said. 14 is vegetable stock. Okay, this is another one that's new. So vegetable stock is a really basic stock market game where you are collecting cards, and as you collect cards, everyone collects one. Whatever card is left over, those are the stocks that are going to increase in price. And then at some point, the stock is going to bust and it's going to go down to zero. So you're trying to work together, but also separately, because you want to be the person that has the best multipliers at the end, because every vegetable that you take is going to be multiplied by whatever the ending stock prices are. So you're like, ooh, Roy's got a lot of tomatoes. Let's see if we can get tomatoes to bust so that, you know, he doesn't win. But I want carrots to be okay because I have a lot of carrots. But maybe I have a little bit of everything. and a bunch of stuff is going to bust, and I'll be okay because I have a little bit of everything. So, yeah, it's a fun game. And it's one that's really easy to teach. It literally takes 15 minutes. So this is a go-to at a convention when someone's like, oh, yeah, let's play together. Let's do something. I'm like, sweet. Let's play this quick 15-minute game, have 5 people play, go. Like, it's just fun.
Nice.
Have you played it? Either one of you?
I've played it. It's going to be a Dice Tower Essential.
Oh, that's right. It is going to be.
It's going to be a Dice Tower Essential coming out very soon.
I think we're going to have it at East.
Are we going to have it at East? Yeah. So, another reason to see us at East is to play Vegetable Stock, which is a really cool mini stock game.
So there's a board game version where you're collecting board games instead of stocks. And so when they bust, they because you flooded the market basically, so they bust, they go down to 0, but then they pop back up or something like that because once games get so popular but then they get out of print, they become really worth it, like really expensive. So it's like thematic.
Yeah.
How it works with the board game one. It's like slightly different rules,
yeah,
the same concept.
Wild.
Stock market games are cool.
I like stocks.
My next game's not a stock market game, but it's funny that you asked the question, Wendy, earlier a few minutes ago
Is
about...
it Foundations of Rome?
No, you asked... I already had Foundations of Rome, but you asked about Dune games, so I need to do a third callback to...
Oh my goodness.
He's going to break the bucket again.
We're doing it one more time. Into here. My number 14 is Dune Imperium.
I'm going to put like an actual scorpion in there one of these days. Stop you from doing that.
So really inside the worms, what are inside of them?
The water of life. Apparently.
The water of life, and then the spice comes out. Like, I know it's weird, but the spice is their poop. I know.
Well, I know, but like,
spice melange.
If you get eaten by a worm, what kills you? Do you just suffocate from the sand inside
Probably
of them?
the teeth.
Probably. Yeah. Look at these giant teeth that they have
but those
here.
aren't very spiky.
So Dune Imperium.
These are like dishwashing teeth.
We have a
Make a curse knife out of that.
we have a crossover in this, don't we, Roy?
I don't know. Do I like this game?
Wasn't this on your list already, or was it not yet? I don't
It
know.
wasn't on my list already.
I thought you had it already on your list.
Roy said that was not his favorite Dune game.
So I love this
Fill in the
game.
blanks.
It's a card drafting deck builder.
Drafting. I wouldn't say drafting.
It's a deck builder.
Yes.
And
a worker placement.
And a worker placement and a little bit of everything. And it is just phenomenal.
Yes.
It's my favorite Dune game now, as you can see. Well, I might have another one, but yeah, it's my favorite Dune game. I absolutely love this game. I love the second edition, the one with the worms, Uprising. Which is a standalone, and it works well for this is movie 1, Uprising is movie 2, our popcorn bucket, and it's just a phenomenal game.
Nice.
It explains the circle of life or the circle of spice.
All right, my number 14 is a crossover with Jason in this very list, but not at this number. This is the War of the Ring card game. A lot of what Jason said about this, but the thing I really enjoy about this is that it feels like Lord of the Rings. I love playing through the different characters and giving them upgrades with their different weapons. And they come there, like you have the path that you're going after. And if you're able to get more on the path, you're able to achieve more victory points as the Fellowship you can achieve to score the path. But if the Dark player is able to like overwhelm you there, they can put a bunch of like corruption on the Ring Bearer. But then you have all these different locations that you're going to have to basically play the different types of factions for the Free People or for the Dark side or the shadow side on those different factions to try to win them. You're going back and forth trying to win the most points by the end of Site 9 or to overwhelm your opponent and get 10 points more than them. And I've just had so much fun with this game. This is one of those games where you have a hand of cards and you have to discard cards to be able to play other cards. And making that choice is a very interesting thing. The same sort of mechanic that they have in Marvel Champions. You're discarding cards out of your hand to be able to play other cards. This has a lot of that in it as well, but this is a head-to-head game where you're battling over those different strongholds. And even though it is kind of loosely based on the War of the Ring board game. It doesn't feel anything like the War of the Ring board game. It's a very different game overall. There's some similar iconography, and of course you have the same characters, but I love the Lord of the Rings IP. This is just a fun head-to-head game. I do enjoy, this is 4 players normally, which is a crazy epic game, and you have to do a lot of teamwork. I played this with Rod and Stephen Bonacore and Justin Jacobson, and me and Justin Jacobson were on the same team, and it was just so fun, like working together. I've also played this 2 players with Chris several times, and it's just fun because we played the shorter version of the game. They have different versions that the designer has released where you can play through different parts of the story, and then you're able to basically make the game shorter and like play with like less of the cards, but you still get that flavor of the game as you're playing through. And it's just, it can be as epic or as quick as kind of you want it to with the different rule sets they have for it. And I've definitely had a lot of fun playing the War of the Ring, the card game.
From everything that you said, what I understand is that this is exactly like Smash Up.
It is Smash Up.
The thing about Smash Up is Smash Up has a lot more take that in it. It has a lot more mixing up of like things and throwing stuff around. It's like, oh, you had that guy on that base, we're gonna throw him over here or discard him out of the game. War of the Ring card game doesn't have as much of that. It's a lot more strategic in the fact of like, okay, I'm gonna save this guy that I'm gonna put out on a base later, but I know you have that guy out there on the base, so okay, when that comes out, how much am I going to commit to that? Going back and forth in the head games you're playing with your opponent is a lot bigger deal in War of the Ring, the card game.
So when does the T-Rex fight the hobbits?
No, it doesn't, but the Ents come out. The Ents come out and...
Can we move the camera so Wendy's less on the screen?
So basically, if you want the Smash Up analogy, you play the Ents card and it destroys all of the... Saruman troops.
There you go.
just like the board game, as you get Sauron or as you get like, you know, Gandalf, you're going to get more draws, which give you more cards, which give you more things to do. And I love that different cards come out at different times. So like Shelob, if you're playing the Shadows, Shelob, you can't play Shelob until like I think round 7 and 8, like when Shelob actually shows up in the book.
Right. And a lot of times if you play the creature on the correct place where they would normally be, they get like bonuses and things like that as well. So there's a lot of interesting like holding cards back, or do I discard it now, or is it this perfect time to play this card out? There's a lot of interesting card play in this game. And I love card games in general, so War of the Ring, the card game is great for me. My number 14.
Do you know how these connect to the number? Apollo, Tolkien, Warehouse, Twilight Struggle, Dwarves, Friday, Baker's Dozen, Last Supper, Aluminium, First Teen, Prime, Frozen, and Madeira.
My number 13 is Istanbul, not Constantinople, my friends. It is not. Chris and I recently did a pile of games video where we talked about all the Istanbuls in existence and all of its expansions and stuff. And it was really fun to pull it all out and replay it again. And then we played like the epic major version where you have like both of the expansions in it. There's just a lot of fun stuff. Istanbul is one of those games that I really enjoy. So you have a stack of discs, and as you move to new locations, you have to drop off a disc or pick up a disc. And so you're always trying to play that like breadcrumbs dropping off kind of thing. And so then you have to come back and grab them, or you can just go to the fountain, waste a whole turn to get them all back. But I love that you're just trying to get resources, and there's a bunch of different ways to get gems. And so you're like, I'm going to get some money over here. I'm going to get some Reese's over here. I'm going to upgrade my cart so I can hold more resources so that I can get a gem. There's just a lot of fun things to do, and it's about reading that board setup in the beginning because that's very variable, and just trying to figure out how can I maximize getting those gems. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on.
Yeah, I was going to say the variable setup where the different powers and different things end up in different places is what makes this game very replayable.
Yeah.
And the whole system that reminds me sort of like Five Tribes-ish, where you're moving to try to get to this place you want to get to do the action on that specific tile is, it's a really, really good game.
And there's upgrades, so you're getting your own unique upgrades, which will help you with your specific strategies. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
So my number 13 is by one of my favorite companies. This one, I'm not going to say it's favorite designer because this was the designer's first game, but it's from one of my favorite companies.
Okay.
Which I think is also one of Wendy's favorite companies.
Queen Games. No, I'm just kidding.
That was a couple of games ago. No, this is from Capstone.
Oh, nice.
And this one is Ark Nova.
Oh yeah, this game's huge.
I've already had Terraforming Mars on my list. Then I had Earth even higher, and now I have Ark Nova the highest of the three games that are kind of in a bucket of similarity.
Tableau building. Giant
tableau building.
Animals and plants?
Card tableau engine building games. But what makes this one stand out the most is the action system in this. So the action system is you have 5 different actions, and they're kind of in a grid. And if I take action number 3, I have to use the power of the third part of the action, and then it goes to number 1. So to get the best of the action, you need to wait for it to get all the way up to spot number 5. But you can't always get everything up to 5, because sometimes you really want to do the action before it gets to 5. So where you pull the actions and bring it back to number 1, where it's getting the least power versus the most power at number 5, makes this really neat, because each action is a very different thing to help you build up everything you're doing.
I do agree. The action selection is the part of this game that I really enjoy. I don't even know if this made it on my top 100. I'll have to remember.
Quite long, I've heard.
I think the chat should just tell me if that's on my top 100. But my thing is that there's so many cards that you're trying to get through that frustrates me. But I feel like I love everything else about the game, other than that like giant deck of cards where you're like, man, can another primate please show up? I need more primates.
They do eventually show up. That's the whole thing. You just got to peel through that deck to get what you need.
But there's just so many cards to read all of the text, and I don't know.
But they're all cool, and you could combo so many things in this game, and how you combo your cards makes it that much better.
Yeah.
Nice. My number 13
I'm gonna look it up.
It used to be my number 1 game of all time. For I think a few years, I really, really enjoyed this game. And this is a fantasy 4X game by Scott Almes called Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. I love this game, and I've been a champion for this game for a long time. I even taught to people on the cruise. I very often teach people this game just because this is one of those big epic games where you start with your little capital city and everybody, and just a couple of little serfs and a warrior, and then you grow from there. That's one of the things that I love about the 4X genre is you start with nothing and you build up into something gigantic and epic and sprawling. But yeah, you have different fantasy races. You can be elves, which are good at magic, or dwarves, which are good at building buildings and want to get rock from the mountains, or you have orcs that are good at pillaging, or you have like goblins, which are good at spreading everywhere. The factions are all extremely different, and I love the 3D nature of this game as well. The table presence is just huge. If you have like flying vehicles that can fly around, and your capital city grows as you actually build it up. You're building towers in other people's continents, and I've just had so much fun. I also really enjoy the combat in this is extremely deterministic. So you're like, you have a number of stuff, and you're like, okay, paper, rock, scissors with these different cards are going to add different strength based on the resources you spend on them. You can also get a lot of victory points for winning combats as well. Here's of Land, Air, and Sea is a blast to play. And one of the reasons that slipped so much for me is because, I mean, for one, I play other 4Xs now a lot. And 2, I've just played this game to death. I mean, this suffers from the same sort of thing that Blood Rage does for me a little bit, is the fact of like, holy smokes, I've played this game so many times. And it's a little bit hard sometimes to play games like that with new people. So either, like, I don't like to nerf myself against adults. I like throw games to my kids all the time, or like play easy against my kids all the time. But like when I'm playing against adults, I try not to, but I still nerf myself in like Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, just because I'm like, I played it way more than almost anybody, you know? I mean, I played every year at Gen Con. I used to play with the designer and the publisher in this. And I 1 year, I beat everybody. Second year, the designer won. Then the next year, I beat everybody again. I'm like, okay, I just wrecked everybody in this game. But the 1 year that I lost, they did kind of be like, Roy won last year, he will not win this year. Which I actually enjoy in games. That's kind of fun when everybody gangs up on you. But yeah, I love Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. And even though it slipped for me a little bit, I'm excited to see what the new combat cards with the new campaign that they had on GameFound brings to the game. But I would love to see new factions and new stuff to play. But I might be the only one clamoring for that because I played the game so much. But I will still play with people or teach people how to play if they want to check it out. And it's a blast to play.
I mean,
so much fun.
A ton of expansion stuff for this in the library.
Yeah, it is. It's worth it. And I have that like 3D like floating island.
Yeah.
It's just so cool sitting out on the table, and it's really fun to play. So yeah, my number 13, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Play or Not to Play. I'm Tim.
I'm Lizzie.
So, is your microphone working?
Oh, don't know.
Can you test it?
1 2 1 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, cut.
1, 2, 1, 2. My number 2 is another Dice Tower essential. So I am
Yes.
This is going to be a crossover with at least Roy. Well, it can't be with Jason because you said you don't have any other, but I think it would have been had you allowed yourself to really love and appreciate Dice Tower
My
essentials.
number 1 Dice Tower essential is where?
And
Is it water themed?
It is water themed.
Yes! I
There
love
are
this one.
manta rays.
I
that
love
you
this
skip
game
over.
too.
This game is amazing.
So this is Aquatica. This is one that I have just really enjoyed this year. Like, this is one that I feel like it's grown on me. It's funny because the first time I played it was like my first game day here at the Dice Tower. And I just was overwhelmed.
It was your initiation.
It really was. I was overwhelmed with like, I hadn't been around people because of COVID. And then suddenly I was learning like this new game with people.
Manta rays.
I didn't know. And anyways, and manta rays and stuff. And so I just remember like, it was just like a wash of information. I was like, I have to be on playing games. Anyways, after that terrifying experience, I came back to it and played it. And it's fun. I really enjoy the engine building that you get with the manta rays. I love the tucking cards and trying to, complete the cards so that you can then get those manta rays, those upgrades, those points. And you always have that choice of you're like, especially when you have like the free tucks, you're like, do I use it now? Do I use it later? I'm going to lose the ability, but then I get to finish it sooner, so I get to upgrade my base. So this is one that I really enjoy. I'm a big fan of making it longer. I like that the expansion gives you a little bit more time to build up and to really be in the game. I feel like the base game is very quick and clean, but I want to be able to really feel like I've built an engine and I get to enjoy it. So that's why I like the expansion. This is a good game.
Love it.
I love it too. 100% if I wasn't involved with Dice Tower Essentials.
Such a weird caveat. I literally told I told the head of Arcane Wonders to give you crap for this. I was like, Brian, you need to talk to Jason and get mad at him because he didn't put any of his Dice Tower Essentials, except one, on his list.
But it's the same reason we didn't put these in the awards at the time. But same thing for you not putting Last Light. It's me not putting these.
I think Brian blocked you on his phone, so that's kind of funny. That's a totally
Let me call Brian right now. And
Brian loves Jason.
For those who want to know, if you like Aquatic and you like the expansion, second expansion is coming out very soon. It's got
Origins.
Coral Reefs. It's got coral reefs and all sorts of new things. So there's more Aquatic coming. It is a phenomenal game. One that I can't say anything bad about. Just amazing good things about this game. It is a game that everyone should have in their collection. It's essential.
Ooh, essential. I like what he did there. All right, Jason, what's
Another
your number
game
1, 2?
that everyone should have in their collection if they have a lot of money to spend.
I don't.
Because it's out of print. It's a game that I got back in the super late 90s, and I still play it to this day.
Is it Star Wars themed?
It is Star Wars themed.
Is it a chess move?
It's I wouldn't call it chess move. I would say battle cry, Memoir 44, etc., etc. It's Star Wars Queen's Gambit.
That's what I meant. The Queen's Gambit is a never mind.
Oh yes, the chess move. Yes. So that chess move. So this game is. This came out before Memoir 44 and before a lot of the other games in the Battle Cry series. And Battle Cry had come out, and then this one is kind of as opposed to doing it on a map, we're doing different zones like left zone, right zone, middle zone. Here you're doing it in sections. So you have cards that do the Gungan battle against the droids. You have the Queen and her troops that use those cool things and zip up the wall to try to get into the chamber with the Trade Federation,
palace,
with the Trade Federation leaders. You have Anakin who's flying the spaceship to blow up the big circular thing that Anakin blows up in the movie, and you have Darth Maul fighting both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to to do the epic duel of the fates battle.
Yeah, one of the cool things about this game too is like if one part like defeats and kind of like takes care of its area, it can start running into the other parts.
Yes.
Like, oh no.
Yes.
Like Darth Maul killed off the Jedis, now he's like storming the thing. Or the opposite happens. Darth Maul got killed, now the Jedis are storming the thing. It's kind of cool.
Which is more like the real movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Darth Maul could come in and kill Amidala, and there's alternate universes. But this takes the whole Memoir 44 etc. system and turns it into
it's not a Richard Borg game, is it?
It's not Richard Borg.
Okay. You say it's the same style.
It's the same style, but Richard Borg didn't actually design this one, which is interesting. Right. But it's the same style, and they both came out from the same company because Battlecry came out from Avalon Hill at the same exact time.
Gotcha.
And I just find it a wonderful game. It is one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. It does everything right. It makes you love the movie even more, even with Jar Jar. It's just wonderful.
When I play
Does
this
Jar Jar
side,
become a Sith in this?
I like playing the bad guys and be like, we're fighting on the Gungan side. We're fighting on the Gungan side. Like just focus fire on just destroying all the Gungans first, and it's a moral victory at that point. It's like Gungan's gone, Jar Jar gone.
The galaxy is
technically
saved.
won the game.
Yes.
Have you ever accidentally knocked over that board?
The big tower?
The big tower?
No. But if you hit it, all the pieces start falling over. They barely balance on there. It's an interesting mechanic.
All right, my number 12 here is actually a crossover with Jason Levine in this same area as well.
Really?
And this is what we're talking about. This is a higher ranked Dune game. This is Dune Imperium Uprising. I love Dune Imperium, and it's just, I think Uprising even elevates us even higher. And I've played so much. I even played in a tournament of Dune Imperium Uprising with Mr. Beast this year, which was a crazy, crazy, crazy experience.
Yes.
I just enjoy the way this game works as you're trying to outthink your opponents and which space to go and which moves to play and trying to figure out, okay, do I need to go over here and get like the hooks, or should I try to get my sword master first, or what should I focus on, and trying to like run up tracks depending on the character you play with. You can play the game in very different ways. I love the intrigue of the combat in this as well. At the end of each round, there's all these combats, like how much I want to commit to the combat without overcommitting, but then committing enough to make it so that maybe you can win, maybe have some cool intrigue cards that are going to mix it up and be able to push you past your opponents. I played so much Dune Imperium Uprising, and I had so much fun doing it. And playing it at a super high level with the guys here at the tournament was just crazy to see as well. Everybody talking about all the different strategies and all the different head games and everything, and like the table talk and like be like, get them, oh my goodness, we can't let them win this battle, while you're secretly over here running up these tracks. It's so fun. Dune Imperium is such a great game, and I love Paul Denton games in general, and I love the stuff Direwolf does. So yeah, this is a no-brainer. Like, this is a great game.
Do you feel like Uprising was necessary?
I think Uprising, honestly, I enjoyed the second movie more than the first one anyway, and this one just feels more action-packed. I mean, now you have sandworms added into it. The spies part of it is really cool as well, allowing you to, because in Dune, like you said, you felt a little bit sometimes like, man, I really can't do what I want to do. The spies allows you to pick a location, I put a spy on it, and then even if somebody else is there, I can still go to that space, so allowing you to open up the board a little bit more. So you might enjoy this one. I don't know if you would like. I don't know if you would like the. I mean, if you didn't like the combat in the first one, you're not going to like the combat in this one either.
I didn't mind it.
But this one allows you to kind of do a little bit more of what you want. Also makes like the whole green area at the top of the board worth it for longer in the game. You can continue to use it. And I played this one so many times now that like I recognize majority of the really good cards, especially by the picture. I'm just like, I need to get that card. Please don't take that card. It's my card. I'm taking it. And now I can do this and this cool thing. And just the combos. In deck building games in general, combos are amazing. And this one is just so fun to see all that in that Dune universe.
I love a deck building game when I can get a soda and fries with it, for sure.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you can even get a popcorn bucket with it too.
Yeah, and then you play and you like, now I have a milkshake. You know, it's good.
It's this game. I only put Dune Imperium on my list because I don't put multiple of the same, essentially the same game.
That's what this is.
And this is basically a reskinned but tweaked, almost like a second edition, because it's a standalone. It's almost like a second edition game, but it's
so similar too, though.
Yes, instead of the first movie, this now is the second movie, which I agree is an even better movie than the first movie.
Right. I don't plan on ever playing regular Dune Imperium again, I'm only going to play Uprising. Just straight up. Just because I like it more. So.
It's got the worms.
It's got the
Childhood.
worms. Make it happen.
The worms.
Hi, I'm the winner, and the next number in the Dice Tower Top 100 countdown is... Hold up. I knew I wrote it down somewhere. What is that number? What is that number? I'm going to let Tom down.
It was right on the top of his head, you know?
Yeah.
He just couldn't think of it.
It's better than it have been on the tip of his tongue. That would have been awkward. For sure. My number 11, I don't know if this is a crossover, but it is by my favorite designer of all time, Phil Walker Harding. And this is Sushi Go.
Oh, yeah.
Sushi Go Party, to be specific. Though I played regular Sushi Go probably as many times as I have Sushi Go Party. This is just one of those great basic drafting games. This is what I love about Phil Walker Harding is he takes these mechanisms that we have in more complicated games, you know, like Seven Wonders and whatever, and he just pulls it down to the basic bare bones of the mechanisms, and yet he makes such good games out of them. So this is literally all you're doing is drafting a card, pick one, pass one, pick one, pass one. You do that 3 rounds worth, basically, and then you count up your score. But it's so cute with all the little sushi characters, and then there's so many different ways that the cards score. And then with the party version, you can trade in a lot of different stuff from the decks. You can try tons of things. Plus, there's promos that have come out over the years. So I just feel like there's so many options on how to set up that basic deck that you're going to pass around. So I love Sushi Go Party.
I'm so hungry now.
I know. I feel like we need to do sushi again, like we did last Tuesday. We need to do it again.
I had sushi yesterday from Publix.
So Sushi Go, Sushi Go is great, but Sushi Go Party had so many more cards and so many more things. So it's just like piles of different ways you could score, and it works so well. And Phil is an amazing designer. I'll have to tell you about his new game that I saw at the Gathering. It's really good too.
Is it Lord of the Rings themed?
No, it's not.
You like this one, right, Roy?
I love Sushi Go. I enjoy this game, but I guess it just doesn't make my top 100. I just find it as like a great super gateway game. I really enjoy it. I've played it a ton. But yeah, it's a really good game. And my stomach is literally growling.
I know. I'm like,
give me the salmon nigiri.
Sushi for dinner sounds so good right now.
Eel gives you the most points, right?
Or
sashimi.
There's something else I would eat besides sushi. So I like all sorts of games. I guess I'm the omni gamer of the group. I like light games. I like heavy games. I like Euros. I like Ameritrash. I like everything.
You like to name drop?
I like to name drop.
Okay.
And in this case, I like long games, and I'm going to name drop Roy here.
Okay.
Because we have a double crossover for the day, or this might be the triple crossover for the day at this point.
I knew we had some crossovers, but they're all at the top of our list.
I know. So I want to eat some Ronto roasters right now, and I want to have some blue milk because
it's Star Wars.
I love
Rebellion.
Star Wars Rebellion.
Nice.
I agree with you. I didn't want to say too much.
Is there blue milk in this game?
No, there is not blue milk in this game.
There's a quest to go get blue milk.
But are there bantha?
So we were talking about Queen's Gambit, which was my number 12. Now my number 11, which is the ultimate Star Wars game of all time. This is like War of the Ring, but the Star Wars version. This brings everything into it. One side is the Empire, one side is the Rebellion. You have Luke and Leia and Han Solo. You have Darth Vader and General Veers and Grand Moff Tarkin, and you're trying to the Empire is trying to find the Rebel base, and the Rebels are trying to protect their base and get away and destroy the Death Star. And you feel like you're in all 3 movies. You feel like you're in episodes 4 to 6. The best movies. There's no Jar Jar in this game. It is just perfect. The expansion works very well with it as well. The expansion for this is amazing.
Yeah, it makes the combat even better.
And I love this game. I love my personal edition of the game, actually.
Oh yeah? Did you get all painted?
Vernon painted it for me.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So like every single Stormtrooper, everything is painted. Vernon did an amazing job. You need to see this copy I have. It's amazing.
I've seen some painted versions of it. The things are so tiny, but they look so cool when they're painted up.
And
so are you gonna have like a massive night where you play like Queen's Gambit, you kill Jar Jar, and then you come over to this game and you play it again?
Yes. Luckily, there's no games in episode 7, 8, or 9 yet. I don't think. I
Did you say luckily?
Well, what would we do in episode 7?
You're gonna have Force time. You're gonna have the Force time in the future.
I just want a Star Wars version of Whack-A-Mole where Palpatine just keeps popping back up and you just have to keep knocking him down.
No.
And then all the Star Destroyers just appear on the board.
In this one, when you destroy Palpatine should not come back.
There you go. Okay, my number 11 and the last one for the day here is an extremely long game, an extremely epic game, but I love Twilight Imperium, specifically Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. Like, this game is a gigantic, epic 4X romp, and it takes a really long time to play, but I feel like it's worth it because you never forget those experiences when you play this game. It's just, everybody has asymmetrical alien factions, and once again, you're starting out on your little home world. Everybody has secret objectives that they're trying to complete, but there's also a bunch of public objectives that are being revealed turn by turn, and you're trying to complete those public objectives as well. There's Mechatol Rex in the middle that you're trying to go after. Mm-hmm. There's all this political intrigue of different agendas that are coming up that people can vote on. I love games where you're able to start with very little and grow as you go along, and it allows you to spend all of your different points on building up different units and things like that. You can kind of tech out your faction the way you want. It's like, oh man, I really want to save all my resources so I can get my flagship because my faction has a really cool flagship. Or, oh, I'm going to try to race to like unlock technology that allows me to get War Sons. Or, oh, I'm going to get this other technology that allows me to get better resource generation. Or, oh, I'm going to build a ton of a fleet of massive ships and try to grow as fast as possible. There's a ton of different ways you can play Twilight Imperium, and a lot of it comes back and forth to like the other players like conflicting over the middle and battling everything out. This is another one of those games where it very much becomes like, they're winning, get them. I like games like that where players are able to interact directly, conflict with each other, but you're racing to figure out ways to get victory points. There's a lot of intrigue and back and forth in this because you have different things. You can trade someone a power for the throne, which literally just gives them a victory point. But if they ever attacked you, it comes back to you. So it's like, hey, we're kind of in this a little bit of an alliance, but if I start winning, he's like, well, I have a victory point from them. I'm still going to attack them because they're going to win if they don't stop it. It's just so much fun. Twilight Imperium is just a blast to play and a gigantic epic game. This used to be my number one for a long time, and all my 4X games are kind of like slowly going down a little bit just because I play other 4X games that are not on the list, but I really enjoy Twilight Imperium. It's a lot of fun to play.
All your 4X games reminds me of back in the day when I played a lot of StarCraft and Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of those same elements. I just realized that when I would play those games, though, I would like playing them against computers instead of like real online opponents.
Yeah.
Because the computers were easier to just like sit back and let me do my thing. Because I like spending the time in the base and doing the tech stuff and then getting the resources and building up until I'm so strong that nobody can beat me.
I played a ton of like 4X video games like Masters of Orion and Age of Wonders and stuff like that growing up, and that's what's kind of like made me, like, as I've come into board gaming, I love like all of the different 4X games that are out there, so it's a blast.
Have you played this one, Wendy?
I have, actually, surprisingly.
Did you finish the game?
I don't think I finished this one. I think that it was one of those that the guy teaching us was like, yeah, I basically won, so we don't need to play the next 2 hours.
Me and Chris have been talking about how we want to get this back to the table again, and it's just such a hard game to make happen, but Emery's
Ruthie
like,
would
I
play,
want to play.
wouldn't she?
She might. She said she's scared of how long it is, but I think she could do it. She played Battlestar Galactica with me. That's like 4 hours. Let's just add another 4 on, you know? It's not that big a deal.
We could do an epic
Also,
Dice Tower
when
8 people play.
When I run Twilight Imperium, it runs way faster than it normally would, just because
you keep on people.
Going.
That's the thing is these long games, if you have someone that knows them and can like get people going on their turns and do all that upkeep stuff, it makes a big difference.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us for another section of our top 100 list. This is the last one that we're doing as part of regular. And the next one is going to be our top 10, and it's going to be during the Spring Spectacular, which is coming up next week. So make sure to tune back in
with our special guest from World Series of Board Gaming.
Yep. And make sure to check out the link for that down below. But we're super excited to be bringing our very top 10 to you next time. Also, make sure to check out the other half of the cruise top 100 list. Chris,
I thought you
Joey,
meant cruise like the boat.
And Camilla are all going to be sharing their top 20 through 11
on
Thursday as well. And make sure to check out all the rest of our stuff that we have coming up here on the Dice Tower. We have crowd surfing on Wednesday, we have Smorgasbord on Thursday, and make sure to tune back in for all of our amazing Spring Spectacular stuff. It's our gigantic extravaganza event where we're just live all day long. But I got to get back to editing all the intros and outros for that. So until next time, I'm Roy Canning.
I'm Wendy Yee.
Jason Levine, the Game Machine, for Shia Lud and Jar Jar.
Let's go.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.